Okay, today let's talk about suppressed listings on Amazon. So how to fix those suppressed listings and also how to prevent those happening in the future. So if you've been selling on Amazon, you have for sure experienced these suppressed listings. That's also another thing, like, why we need to keep an eye on the listings because it might actually happen that, the listings get suppressed. And this is especially important if you're running any kind of campaigns, like let's say if we will run some deals, best deals, lightning deals, whatnot. So because if the listing is suppressed, then that also means that it's not possible to actually. I mean, it's basically not visible, right? So today we are going to be talking about identifying these issues, so common problems like the title length and missing UPC code, solutions, strategies to resolve these suppressed listings on Amazon. So let's just go straight into it. So what does it mean, suppressed listing on Amazon? So it basically means this, that a search suppressed listing is hidden from customer searches due to a policy violation. So that means that people are not only able not to buy it, but it's pretty much like not visible on Amazon either, right? So it's still going to be visible in your seller dashboard, and if you open the listing from a link, you can see it there. So, but in terms of like ranking on different keywords and whatever, those it's not going to be visible there. So you can only access it from a direct link. So your product is not found by the buyers, and of course this has direct impact on the sales and the performance. So that's why it's so kind of like catastrophic if it happens and you need to fix it immediately, right? So how to identify these suppressed listings? And if you just have a few listings, a few products, then obviously you would know this, right? But when you're having like multiple products, multiple marketplaces, then it easily becomes more complex. So in that case, you need to keep an eye on it. So you can basically, whoops, what's happened here? Just a sec. Can you see my screen? Well, I will assume so. Anyway, so you just go to Seller Central, Inventory, manage all inventory, and search suppressed and inactive listings, or then just go to the link to under Seller Central Amazon, fix your products and suppress. So if you don't see any of your listing, then that's good. None of the listings are suppressed or inactive. So in that way, it's pretty handy to have just basically one page. Like, let's say that you're having a lot of products and you have a lot of product listings and whatnot, and especially like when you're doing multiple like tests, then it's cool that you basically have just one URL, one page where you can see that, okay, do you have any inactive or suppressed listings? So, okay, let's talk about the reasons. Like, why does it actually happen? So, it basically, the most common thing is that non-compliance with Amazon's image requirements. So, it could be case like, obviously, like if you haven't uploaded images, then, it's going to be suppressed. But also, if something is not compliant in the image, then Amazon is going to remove the image, and then that's going to lead to the suppressed listing. So it can mean poor quality images or just plain missing images, right? So there are, requirements for these images. So first of all, size, format, blah blah blah, quality. I mean, it must be clear and not look rough or pixelated around the edges. And captions or words in the images must comply with Amazon's terms of service. So that means no medical claims, no promotions, and whatnot. So, and here kind of lies the another reason that you need to be aware of like what's the rules in your category, because there's also certain rules that you shouldn't use. Like let's say like if you would be selling some kind of items that can easily be labeled as medical claims, like for example just kind of something like pill capsules or whatever. Or if you're selling like let's say some bathing like related items, but if you would have some kind of health claim that it reduces stress or whatever. I mean, Amazon, I mean, they want to be 100% compliant with the different rules and regulations themselves. So they don't want to end up in a situation where there's some text inside of the Amazon's website where it might be a case where it's not 100%. It's well not ethical, but that there's a sense, there's even a hint that it could be something that that's a claim that you need to have some kind of like clear proof, like scientific proof or whatever, right? So then if you're selling a product like that, then you need to be more aware of the rules and regulations in that given category and in that given product and in that area as well, right? So another reason is inadequate product information. So titles, and this is also another area which keeps kind of, well, not changing, but it's getting updated quite a bit. So meaning that there's been these limitations on the titles, how many characters you can use. So it also depends on the category. So most cases, it's 200, but it can be 80 characters, or then here's another reason, like it's kind of difficult to give advice which would be like applicable to 100% of the situations, because there are different rules in different categories, different rules in different products, in different type of products, and so on. So that's why, like when you're selling something, then you also need to start building the competence in that given product and having the expertise, meaning that okay, so like what kind of documentation would Amazon require and so on. So sometimes, especially when you're starting out, it just makes sense that you're just selling easy items that don't have any like documentation, don't have any like regulations or whatnot. So you don't need to be bothered with it, but you can put like 100% of your focus in just learning the skill to optimize the time to market, so you're able to test out product ideas as fast as possible, because that's the number one thing to learn, to be able to test out product ideas quickly. But anyway, I mean, let's say that you have already like lots of big products, so this is not your first product, then you definitely need to also I mean, you can go with more demanding, more complicated products, but then you just need to do the research, or like, okay, what kind of documentation is needed, and is there some kind of like import documentation that is needed, and so on. So that's the time that you just need to do the research and understand that, okay, what does this product in question actually require, right? So any kind of misleading or inaccurate product descriptions, that's also another thing. So basically the Amazon product title guidelines is that it applies to pretty much all non-media products worldwide. And it doesn't matter like whether you're using FBA or just, doing the manual fulfillment, merchant fulfillment. So you need to avoid these promotional phrases. And here's another case that, it's basically a list that keeps on updating at times. So that means that, okay, then you just need to understand that, okay, what's going on with the category in the product needs, in the subcategory that you're doing. But typically it's going to be that you don't use phrases like free shipping or 100% quality guaranteed in titles, and then no special characters. Don't use these kind of characters inside the titles. And of course, just open Amazon and you will see these characters being used. So, but it's a different thing whether anyone's actually using it or if they're actually being caught. But, it's also kind of like pretty easy for the Amazon's bot just to, scrap out all those scrape the listings and see that, okay, which ones are using these not allowed characters, and then just, suppress the listing. Then including key product information. And again, this is something that is 100% dependent on the category, and it can be even subcategory based, but make sure the titles include like clear product details like, okay, hiking boots or umbrella, so that it all comes down to offering like good customer experience for the end user, right? And and here it's the same thing, that I must follow the terms of service, so no medical claims, no promotions, and so on. And of course, that's another thing that you keep seeing. Like, let's say that when it's Black Friday, then you will see a lot of listings that will say that, okay, Black Friday deal and whatnot. And technically, you can't do that, but it's a gray area, and then it's more of a question that, okay, will you get caught in doing it? But good way to understand it that it's most often not allowed. Then like here's an example where it's about character limit, so being less than 200. So category misplacement. So this means that the listing is not in the correct category. And sometimes people might do it intentionally, and I know that I have done as well. Because one case was that, well, this was a time when it was more difficult in getting approved in certain categories. So I applied to be able to sell in that category, but was denied. And this was also a case that, I mean, we had already placed the order and everything, and then we suddenly realized that, I mean, we cannot actually even list in that category. So what I did was that I just, used a different category for that. I mean, it was not really the correct one. I mean, it was kind of on this gray area that, I mean, you could put into this category. But anyway, what ended up happening is that, it was fine for a few days, but then eventually, I mean, Amazon moved the listing. I mean, the bot moved the listing to the correct category, which I didn't have approval for, so the listing just got shut down. So then it was just a case of that, okay, then I needed to apply to get the category ungated, and which I was able to do. And then, I got the listing back up, but it took me maybe a week or something. So I mean, it needs to be in the correct category. And yeah, I mean, this means that, okay, you, for example, shoes shouldn't be under electronics, but even same, I mean, it shouldn't even need to be that drastic. It's just more about the subcategory, meaning that is the subcategory accurate? So, so that means that it's basically, it can be a cause in getting the listing suppressed as well. Yes. Another thing is that what happens, especially if you're selling something that, you know, has these kind of regulations, liabilities, certifications, documentations. Like, good example is that what ended up happening is that was this mosquito repellent thing. I mean, we were selling some of that stuff, and actually, you know, our student Alvar was selling it as well, and also using like we gave one of our accounts for him to sell as well. But you know what ended up happening there is that initially it was kind of like Wild West, that you didn't need to have any kind of permits to sell those products, those equipment, and you know some of them are like electronic, and you know, but if you think about it, that's not really a good user experience, meaning that if there's no regulation whatever. So what ended up happening is that Amazon started adding more requirements, meaning that you need to, the seller needs to do this kind of like evaluation, and to be able to prove not just like the documentations about the product itself, that you know that it's safe and it has met all these regulations for safety and it's non-toxic and you know all the stuff, but additionally they started requiring that the seller, the person behind the company, has to have some kind of has to do some kind of like evaluation, some kind of exam to prove that they are you know, they have the expertise in being able to sell those products, manage those products, right? So those are the things that can happen, and you know, if you just focus on giving like the same thing as with Amazon, with like just offering great customer experience, then I mean these are actually good, right? Like, just imagine for yourself, like if you're buying some electronic product that you know is fuming out some gases or whatever, like obviously you wouldn't want it to be toxic, right? So you want it to be safe and everything. So those kind of like rules and those kind of regulations are actually good for us as consumers, right? So if you have the same kind of approach as Amazon, that you know it should be all the time like leading to a good customer experience, then I mean, then these are things that you would feel pretty like natural to do anyway, right? Okay, so yeah, so there might actually be like in that case that suddenly, I mean, all sellers were allowed to sell it, but then they started like screening out the sellers, saying that no, 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 you need to have these and these documents, you need to have these and these exams to do, and whatever. So if you're selling that kind of item that is on more like have where people need to be more like safety conscious or whatever, then that's something to take into consideration, that it might actually happen. All right. So, I mean, prohibited hazardous products. Well, I mean, obviously, if the items are not to sell or are not allowed on Amazon, then it's gonna be get suppressed, right? Mold, pesticides, you know, that's actually one reason. Like before you place an order, before you even spend the time on that product, then first thing is to create the product listing on Amazon. Maybe even do your like shipping plan, and wait a few few days to see that does it trigger any kind of warning? Does it trigger any kind of hazardous material notification or whatever? Because it might actually be that you see this great product opportunity there, and you get all excited, like make your order, and whoops, well, you're not actually allowed to sell that on Amazon. So that's why we have on our checklist that, I mean, create the listing first, maybe even do the shipping plan first, and so on, before spending anything on the product itself, right? Then FBA product restrictions. Product must follow laws, regulations, and Amazon policies for customer trust. FDA, alcohol, cosmetics, anything that's dealing with safety. I mean, those are more regulated, which is actually a good thing, right? And here you also need to consider like keywords, like, because if you like mention certain keywords, then what might happen is that, okay, Amazon might lock it up, boom, this is like a banned, and it doesn't mean that you will not get it open. You might get it open, but that also means that you just got yourself a bit of an extra hassle, right? Because let's say that you would do you would realize that, okay, I mean, this is actually Amazon labeled this as medical device, but no, it's not a medical device, and it all happened because you added a certain keyword that raised this trigger and ended up shutting down the listing, which meant that maybe they are now asking you, no, you need to get the approval to sell this medical device or whatever. So let's say that you would like you will provide the information on Amazon, and you talk with the support team or whatever, and they are saying the same thing. Yeah, it makes sense. This is actually not a medical device, and blah blah blah. But that's a lot of hassle. And let's say that they agree with you and they want to get it fixed as well. But sometimes it actually happens that some of the areas inside Amazon actually are from the Stone Age, which means that the teams themselves don't have 100% control on the listings and everything. And it might actually happen is that you just go from one team to another to try to fix the situation, but it takes a lot of time and energy from you. So that's definitely not cool. So always do all these things in advance, so you don't end up in a situation like where you already placed an order. You may be already like set your inventory inside of Amazon, but now your listing is suppressed because of this and that issue, and now you need to spend all the time to try to fix it, right? Okay, let's move on then. IP stuff, absolutely. So intellectual property concerns, so they take authenticity very seriously, and that's definitely a good thing. So copyrights, trademarks, patents. So if there's any kind of issues, then their listing might get suppressed, and it's not tied to just the trade. I mean, the name or whatever. I mean, it comes down to keywords as well, meaning that, for example, we copyrighted one keyword, the main keyword, for one of our products, which means that now none of the competitors are allowed to use that keyword. And if they use it, then it's easy for me to just file on the brand registry that hey, I mean, this product listing is using this keyword, and I mean this search term here, and that's violating our intellectual property, then they will immediately just get shut down, right? So that's why you also need to be aware of that. Is there any kind of like these trademarks, trademark word or brands or whatever, right? Okay, then negative customer feedback, reviews, returns. Yes, if you have high returns, poor reviews, customer complaints, that might actually get this listing suppressed. So that's why you need to like monitor these offers health to help serve you customers better. So there's this page, voice of the customer inside of Amazon, where you can just review the comments and spot customer issues. And it's not only about reviews; it's also like if it happens that customers like return your products, Amazon in Amazon you have to select the reason. You have to give the reason that why are you like returning the product there. So if they are saying that, oh, it was just crappy quality or whatever, then then it's gonna be an issue for the seller, right? Because obviously Amazon doesn't want to deal with any returns, or I mean, they want to have as low returns as possible, right? So if you find a problem, then just take the steps to resolve it on this page. So any claims issues regarding product safety, pesticide claims, yeah, like we just discussed, that's a bit of a dangerous area. So identify these and actually that's another reason why you, especially like when just starting out, don't go crazy with any kind of claims that this product will cure cancer, and it will like make your heal your skin overnight, or I mean it will cure all the diseases, just eat this pill. I mean, don't do that, and especially like when you're testing out different products, and then don't go crazy with the claims, and instead see that, okay, what are the things that like what are potential things that can actually get the listings up down. So remove any unnecessary claims, and if your product isn't registered pesticide, delete any statements suggesting it has pesticidal effects, for example. Just by keeping compliant and avoid confusing the customers, right? Okay, how to reinstate this suppressed listing, right? So I mean, there are different teams inside of Amazon, so you need to know that which team to contact. So catalog team, so let's say flat files, anything related to listings, FBA department, any inventory issues. Like for example, like we have sometimes moved the inventory from one, definitely like from an SKU to another. But I think sometimes we even have the case where they move it for different listings. So that's going to be the FBA department. Then account health team, brand registry team. So you need to basically know that the team that you're talking to is able to fix that issue. But it's this account health associates help maintain these healthy accounts, and they basically offer these insights and support, right? So use the suppressed listings report or the suppressed listings report in Seller Central by going to help and listing not viable. So you basically just enter the ASIN code, the SKU code, and so on. And here, and actually another thing is that, just fix the listing immediately, right? Like if you know the issue, then just don't wait and just do it immediately. Remove the banned keywords or the claim or whatever it is, right? So add the missing information, correct details, or update images as per the Amazon's guidelines. Then having this enhanced product safety compliance, submit necessary safety certifications and testing results. And then, I mean, address this negative feedback and basically improve these product descriptions or quality. And actually, one thing is here is also the expectations. Like if you're getting complaints that it's the wrong size, then you need to have, for example, I remember like with one of our products, we had an issue that, people were complaining that it's smaller than they expected. So there's nothing, I mean, we actually had the sizes and everything listed in the product listing. So all the information was there, but people don't read. So what ended up happening is that instead they don't read, and then they just complain that, oh no, it's smaller than I expected or whatever. So then we had to start adding these images that made it crystal clear that what is the size of the product, and then added also in these bullet points that this is the size of like certain thing, just to make sure that even people who don't read or might miss looking the images will understand that, okay, this is the size of the product. Okay. Yeah, so because one key thing on Amazon is that people have to receive the thing that the product listing says, right? So the product listing has to match 100% what people actually receive in their hands, right? So that's why we, as like online sellers, have to make everything so that everything is as expected, and there's no mismatch or anything that's gonna happen, right? Yeah, I mean, let's say, I mean, you get some it was suppressed because there was something in the description. I mean, just fix the description, then just apply for reinstatement. So you just submit the revised listing for Amazon's review and wait for their approval. And if the listing suspension or listing restriction, then you need to prepare this detailed persuasive appeal letter and provide evidence of or corrective actions and reflect on root causes for improvement. And I mean, we have plenty of examples to give you if you ever have the situation that it's made in such a manner that it has this plan of action and these corrective methods and everything. So it's pretty simple. I mean, you just follow our template and give the information to Amazon, right? So another thing is that you can request a spin check for this product quality or authenticity for any expired or damaged issues. So you submit this request through Seller Central support, and Amazon inspects the inventory to confirm these product descriptions and assess quality. Then you can use the same case ID to defend your case regarding false claim. Like, let's say that let's say that someone is complaining that in your packaging you use some certain banned keyword that has copyright. Then if that's not the case, then you can just submit this case that, I mean, Amazon can check the inventory, open product to actually double check that that's not the case, it's actually a false claim. So what happens is that they receive the request and then just locate and assess the inventory, and then they record, update, and compare, and then resolve it, right? Okay, preventive measures to avoid suppressed listings. What can you do? I mean, that's what I mean. Like, typically, their product listings are not something that you just set and forget. set and forget and say goodbye. No, no, no. Typically, it's like this real estate. Like if you don't take good care of it, then it's just the law of the nature that things start to degrade, things start to fall apart, right? So same thing inside of Amazon is that if you don't actively like take care of listings, then oops, you got some negative reviews. Okay, then there's some complaints or whatever. I mean, and then let's say that you had didn't have a good batch, so you had some quality issues or whatever there. Then I mean that's gonna hurt the product listing, and you will end up with this some negative reviews or return rate goes up and things like that. So main thing is to stay informed about your product listings, the quality, and if you're getting any kind of these notifications. That's an easy one, but also if there's any kind of changes in your category or with your product in question or in general with Amazon, right? So basically just keeping up with Amazon's policy updates and best practices through Seller Central forums, right? So here are some examples that you can just browse if you have trouble finding interesting thing to do. But no, I mean, seriously, it's also good to take some time sometimes just to go through the forums and check out that, okay, what's going here? Is there anything that I haven't noticed in my category, or is there any kind of new policies, agreements, or guidelines that I maybe haven't missed? And another thing is that, I mean, leveraging these positive reviews for testimonials, negative reviews for product improvements, meaning that you respond proactively to feedback when resolve these issues and answer these questions right away as well, right? And all the time having high quality listings. And basically, like previously when we were talking about this life cycle of a product, at certain stages, it's going to reach maturity, and after maturity it's going to start declining unless there's some kind of new things popping up, like some kind of like expanse or some kind of like improvement on the product itself. So that's like the best approach in protecting your product as well, meaning that you're actively like improving the product and adding new things to it. So that's really the best thing to do, right? High quality images, accurate descriptions, correct categorization, and compliance with the policies and so on, right? So I mean, suppressed listings can significantly affect the brand's growth and sales performance. It's just the thing that you need to know the common causes and steps to address these suppressed listings promptly. And it can also happen like if Amazon doesn't like your main images for any reason, they can suppress the listing, shut down your advertising and everything. So that's something that you should be aware of quickly. So regular audits, staying informed, high quality listings, customer feedback can really help prevent this suppression getting suppressed, right?